Welcome to Igniting the CEO Within podcast, where we interview successful, high-level professionals to discover lessons they've learned throughout their career that can help you ignite the CEO within you. I'm Mark McFatridge, and I'll be your host for the next 20 minutes or so. Our show is sponsored by Quaid, a nationwide community of CEOs and entrepreneurs. Quaid has developed Launchpad, which offers an exciting opportunity for executives and coaches to become licensed circle directors and earn annual recurring six-figure revenues. After completing the Launchpad program, you'll lead your own peer advisory circles, helping other CEOs and entrepreneurs excel in their professional and personal lives while providing a community of support, accountability, and challenge. We help you do all this while putting in about 60 hours per circle per year. If you'd like to learn more, go to quaidcircle.com. I am pumped for this show today because we have Michaun Winborn of Born2Win Coaching in Columbus, Ohio. Michaun, welcome. And I'm pumped just from our brief get to know each other. This is going to be a good day. So thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Hey, you are doing some amazing things in coaching and throughout your career. You've met with a lot of people, you've led a lot of people, you've coached a lot of people. When you look at it, what is one leadership trait that you see that helps differentiate great or even excellent leaders from average or even poor leaders?
Oof. It's a really, really good question. I think the main thing that stands out between the great leaders I've had and the meh leaders that I had has been curiosity.
Mm,
Um, I can speak specifically about, and of course I won't say their name, but a manager that I
yeah.
had, probably the worst manager that I've ever had. I remember coming to a point in our tenure of her being my
Mm,
manager where I had to just simply say to her, I don't feel like you care about me. You are forcing things or requiring things or expecting certain things, but you haven't asked me anything to get any context. And her response is, "Oh, you don't think I care about you? I definitely do." I'm like, "You just told me that I couldn't have a work from home day when my car broke down, and your first question, talk about being curious, the first question that was posed was, 'Well, you don't have a second vehicle?' Not, 'Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Were you able to get your kids off to school?' 'Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, of course you can have the day off.'" And I think that lack of curiosity, which really is more of like caring, right? The
right,
curiosity to
right.
understand and know the people that you work with and that you serve with in whatever capacity. That lack of curiosity can be detrimental because you can't build relationships unless you know people. And you can't know people unless you ask questions.
I love it. I love that. I use that a lot, talking about curiosity a lot of I think those are the type of people that I like to be around, whether they're my leader or my teammate
Absolutely.
or like the people that just want to know why, right? Why?
Yes. Yes.
That childlike curiosity almost like
Yes, I was about to say,
why?
not in an accusatory way,
No,
but in a way
no.
that just wants to dig deeper and get more information and more context and develop a rounder context around a thing or an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
curiosity is key.
all right, let me ask you a question. Can curiosity be taught or is that an innate trait of somebody?
Yeah, so I do believe it can be taught. I think, some people just naturally have it. They naturally are a curious person just innately, but I do believe that it's a skill that can be taught
Uh-huh.
because what it is it's helping a person. Let's say there's a leader that is not naturally curious. What you have to do to teach them to become curious is to pause. That's where the problem is.
Mhm.
They don't take time to stop and pause before providing an answer, providing a solution, making a directive. If they pause, you can have additional thoughts. And those
Mhm.
additional thoughts might lead you to asking other questions, again, to get more
Mhm.
context, so that you have a better solution, a better directive. So I think teaching it is possible, and I think the way that you do that is starting with helping them to slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Yeah. I love that. That ties in one of my favorite sayings, and this really, honestly changed. This sounds super dramatic, but it changed my life when
Uh-huh.
I first heard it. It's listen to understand, not to respond.
Yes.
Right, which is exactly what you said. If you're listening to
Yes.
understand, you're letting somebody complete their entire thought process,
Correct.
and you're listening to understand what they're saying, and maybe even what they're not saying, right? So that you can understand
Yeah.
where they're coming from and where to go from that.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest reasons that I was able to be successful in my previous role is because naturally I am a curious person. I care
Mhm.
about people. I want to know things about them. I'm the person that's going to schedule a 15-minute chat with you when you first get hired on the team because I just want to make sure you know who I am, if I can help you.
Yeah.
Let's find out where we have some common ground so we can build a relationship. But I also learned data. And I think one of the things that leaders, successful business people are good at is reading data, understanding, project plans, but you have to marry those two things together.
Mhm.
It's the curiosity of the person, the people that you're engaging with, and understanding what their problems are, where the roadblocks are, anecdotally, because you talk to people and then looking at data and saying, okay, is that reflected in the data that we're looking at for our business? If it's not, okay,
Mhm.
why is there a disconnect? Why do these people not feel free to tell me in the data that that's the problem? If they are connected, great. Now we have anecdotes and we have data that can support a business decision, and that helps you move things forward. So yeah, I think curiosity is 100% key. Slowing down and pausing to get that
Mhm.
input because though that curiosity is data as well, it's just a different form.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that. Yeah, I want to stick with curiosity just a little bit longer because
Yeah,
I think I truly think it's something that is missing, like, that's not taught, right?
it's
And
not.
maybe, well, yeah, it's
It's
not.
not regularly.
Right,
You can
right.
find places that, that focus on leading with curiosity, but generally this is not a soft skill that a lot of people are talking about. And it's hard. It's not a soft skill. It's actually a hard skill to develop if you don't have it. But it
Well,
can
and I think it's completely underrated in terms of
Mhm.
getting along with people and becoming being good teammates and all that kind of stuff, just because and again, I think I've been blessed to be surrounded by all kinds of different people throughout my entire life, whether it's in my personal life or my professional life.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with all of my friends, right?
Sure.
We are I've actually stopped using the word like-minded and use like
Mhm.
situated. So as we start putting
Mhm.
people around, we're like situated people, but we don't
Yeah.
necessarily agree on everything.
Yeah.
But if I stopped being curious, I would just say I'm right and you're wrong without
Yes.
ever understanding why you believe what you believe, and you
Mhm.
understanding why I believe whatever this is, right? It
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
how to tie your shoes, right? But but
Yeah.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
why you tie your shoes like that? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and just being curious
Mhm.
in my mind opens it up. It doesn't mean that I have to change my belief system, but dang, it at least helps me understand where you're coming from and understand why you believe what you believe, and then we can go have a beer together, right? I mean, that's
Yeah. Yeah. I think to the point of, the story around you have completely let's say there's polar opposites in a particular situation. The curiosity that's needed to continue a relationship. If you choose and you're like, "Hey, we don't believe the same thing. I don't agree with you. I'm never going to get there. I don't care why you believe what you believe." Okay, the door is closed. The bridge is now busted,
yep,
right?
yep,
What's the point?
yep.
But if there is space in there for you to ask just why is it that you think that way? Or what data have you taken in that allows you to think that way or has informed you to think that way? that allows you to meet in the middle on that bridge. You might never cross the other side. They might never come to your side, but you're able to meet, which means the relationship can continue.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we all need to be.
Yeah.
I don't have to come all the way to your side, but what I should do as a human is care enough about you to hear, listen, and say, okay, listen, what you believe has been informed by XYZ.
Yeah.
I've never had that experience, so I could never believe what you believe. However, agree to disagree. Let's go get a beer.
Yeah. Right.
To your
Well,
point.
and I appreciate where you're coming from, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Cool.
appreciate that lens. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. We need to write a book or something.
We should, Mark. Let's do it.
we'll, we'll just knock it. I think we'll take the AI recording of this, and we've got a book coming
Oh
out
my gosh,
in 3
hilarious.
weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this
It
is
really could do it though.
yeah. Well, so keep taking that forward, and you're doing a ton of coaching and working with executives. What other things are you seeing that are are things that a lot of leaders today are missing, and what are they looking for, and how are they getting better, or do they even want to get better? What does that look like with the people
Good question.
that you're working with?
So the people I work with do want to get better. They come to me because they care, right?
Yeah,
My
yeah.
work is specifically around coaching executives to become more culturally intelligent and inclusive. So if they're
Uh-huh.
coming to me, they know there's a gap there for them.
Yep.
I think the biggest roadblock that I see for some of the leaders that I work with is they are caught between their values, like what the deep-seated values that they've been holding for decades,
Mm-hmm.
and their conditioning. And those are
Mm.
two different things. So, uh, an example of this could be, um, I am a Christian personally. Michaun Elise Winborn is a Christian. I have very deep-seated beliefs in that religion.
Sure.
Okay. I also, um, my conditioning is I've been born into the United States, which has taught me that capitalism is king. There's all these systems that we work in, right? From independence and being selfish. Um, I'm trying not to be like too political and tracked here. But racism, we're born into the United States, which has racism as its history. So even if we just take those two things, capitalism and racism,
Mhm.
I'm born into these systems. I am a Christian. These systems do not align with my Christian beliefs. So it's trying to figure out how to navigate in the world
Mhm.
with these dual systems at work. And I think that's where a lot of leaders kind of bump up against a wall because they don't know how to do that. They don't
Yeah.
know how to reconcile those two things. And so it's helping them to unseat some of those systems and think through what beliefs have these systems that we live and work in embedded in our bodies, embedded in our brains, embedded
Mhm.
in our emotions that we can kind of uproot to allow our values to really shine.
Mhm.
And that's a lot of work. It's hard.
Yeah.
But it is possible. The work is possible. It it is different for every person. But the work is definitely needed and it is possible to do. It is possible to slowly but surely extricate yourself from these systems in order to be the human that you're put on the earth to be with the values that you hold.
Mm. Oh, I like that. One of the phrases I've been using for a long time is unapologetically authentic.
Mm.
And for
Which is very
me,
hard to do.
it is. No, it is. Really is.
Yeah.
It really is. But, it goes back to, I think, one of the first things that people, but leaders specifically,
Mhm.
they have to become self-aware. And the other thing, right, is you change as a human being the more that you experience, right? Like
Yes.
and this is almost I think I'm remaking your point, right?
But no, this is good, yeah.
You're born into a certain belief system or
Mhm.
culture. You're born into a specific culture. If you never if you're never curious and you never
Mhm.
get outside of that culture, you're going to remain that way the rest of your life.
Correct.
If you not break out, but if you have the opportunity to expose,
Mhm.
if you become curious and you get exposure to
Mhm.
other things and other people and other cultures and other beliefs and other ways to tie your shoes, right?
Yeah.
Like you you become aware and you start to learn what you like and who you really are and become your own person.
Yeah.
And that is a freeing moment when that happens.
Yes. Yes. It's so I'm about to lose my train of thought because you said something specifically and I was like, "Yes." So I think the reason why we see so much of this like inclusion work, DEI efforts, culture work in corporate spaces, in the workplace, is because that is the main place that most humans have that take them out of the culture they were born in.
Mm,
If you think about it, so I'm Black, right?
yeah.
Born into a Black family, went to predominantly Black churches growing up all the way till I was a couple years ago, really. I went to school. Now my school life, I'm a little bit different because my school life was at a predominantly white school from second grade to 12th grade. Then I went to a predominantly white institution. So I have a little bit of a different experience, but for the
Mhm.
average Black person, I'm generalizing,
Sure,
please
of
don't
course. Yeah,
now.
all good.
Um, if I'm a Black person, the community that I'm in is Black, period. Same with white people,
Yeah.
right? Black people have more of an opportunity to be in other spaces because there's 13% of us in the United States, right? So we're
Mhm,
going to be in spaces where there are people not like us, and more than likely we will be the only.
mhm,
But if we go the other side with white people, most of the environments they're in, they are the majority. The workplace is the one space that most people that are not of the global majority, so not Black, brown, any other race other than white,
uh-huh,
it's the one opportunity that they have that they're going to be in an environment with people who are not like them. And so this work is been so prevalent in workspaces because that's where you're going to see these issues crop up. This is where you're going to see people fighting against their conditioning and their values
mhm,
because they're having to engage with people that don't look like them. And I think the more that we can practice being out of our communities,
mhm,
being part of other communities, the better off we'll be. Because again, this pulls that through line of curiosity. The more you learn, the more you can ask questions, the more it's not like, oh, I have one Black friend. Oh, I have like a whole community of people that I've been going to brunches with or engaging in volunteer work with that aren't like me, that I have the opportunity to engage and
uh-huh.
learn from and see my own biases in a different
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Wow, that's cool. My aunt, was a gifted and talented teacher,
Mm,
elementary or middle school, probably I think elementary. Anyway, when our first son, who's now 30, was born, she said something to me that I keep to this day is life is about experiences, and the more that you
mm.
experiences you share with your kids, the more worldly they're going to be, the more all the things that you and I just talked,
Yeah,
curious they're going to be, and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
And man, that has rang true, and I think that's exactly what you're saying too, right?
Yes,
Is cool. You're going to get exposure in the workplace of other cultures, other whatever, other
yeah.
experiences that you're not accustomed to, and how you react to that is either going to help you grow personally and professionally, or it's going to
Absolutely.
shut you down and do whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Wow, this is cool. What we are trying to keep this to kind of a short deal, which I'm kind of bummed out. So we may have to record another one at some point. After we do
Bring
our
me
book
back.
tour. After we do our book tour.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we're going to put a bow on this, give me one key thing that you're sharing with either up and coming leaders that you're being in front of.
Mhm.
What is one key message that you're sharing with up and coming leaders as part of some of the work that you do?
Ooh, one thing. Um, mm, I have to pick one thing. So, one thing that I usually leave, a session with, or when I'm chatting with somebody about what I do, um, I will usually say the one way you can start to impact others in the world positively is interrupting bias when you see it. And I know that
Mm,
this is not a DEI podcast. But for any person who is wanting to be better and is wanting to continue to learn and grow, um, paying attention to what's happening around you is paramount. Um, and the more that we can come alongside people who might not look like us, might not talk like us, might not belong to the same organizations as you,
mhm,
the more we can come alongside them, the better we're all going to be. And so the word bias, most people are like, "Oh, it's a DEI thing." And you could take it for what you want to however you want to define it.
yep.
But for me, bias is the definitions that we put on others, um, that are not based in fact. And the only way you're going to know that it's based in fact is if you read, is if you ask, right?
Hmm.
And so if you've not read and you've not asked a question, just assume it's bias until otherwise proven.
Yeah.
And so when you see something happening, interrupt yourself too. But if you see it happening, or if you are in the moment and you're like, what I just did, that didn't quite feel right, or
Hmm.
that might have come out of a bias and not a fact. Stop yourself.
Yeah.
Stop that person. And that could be as simple as, hold on, let me pause before I say my next thought. Or it could be, ooh, that didn't sound good. Try that again.
Yeah.
Or it could just be, calling them out if you realize that yes, it is bias and that's a mess, saying what the thing is and calling it out in the moment. But the more that we do that, the more that we are able to spread truth, which is we are fighting hard right now
Yeah. Yeah.
against a lot of truth. So the more that we can do that, the more I think people can recognize where truth lies and where it does not, which is going to help us all out in the
Yeah.
long run.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you. Hey, this has been amazing. Would you share how people can get a hold of you? Like, what's the
Oh,
best
yeah.
way to reach out to you?
I am on lots of social media platforms. So
Okay.
right now, I do have a website. It's www.born2, number two, win.co, born2win.co. You can find me on LinkedIn personally, as well as my business. You can find us on YouTube, which have quick, like 1.5 minute videos or even 30-second quick clips for leaders just to help them through the day, give you something to think about in the back of your head, to help you to mitigate risk as you go throughout your day. I'm also on Instagram, and I think that's it. Um,
Awesome.
but yeah, please connect.
Excellent. Well, thanks again for taking the time to share your insights, and I had a blast.
Thank
This
you.
is fun for
Thank you,
me.
Mark. You're fun.
Yeah.
Definitely fun. Yeah.
Fun and handsome, right? Like
And awesome. Yes.
Great stuff. Hey, thank you all so much for listening. As a reminder, Igniting the CEO Within is sponsored by Quaid, a nationwide community of CEOs and entrepreneurs. Quaid has created a Launchpad program, which provides an exciting opportunity for executives to become licensed circle directors and earn annual recurring six-figure revenues while only putting in 60 hours per year per circle. To find out more, visit quaidcircle.com. Until next time, keep igniting that CEO within you. I'm Mark McFatridge. Thanks for listening.